Welcome back, everybody, to the Financial Hour with Fred Arnold and David Cantrell. We are on KHTS AM 1220, FM 98.1, and hometownstation.com. So as Fred mentioned before the break, that we are going to talk about home values and why they're continuing to, you hear about all this somewhat negative news about unemployment or where the economy is going, but housing, boy, it sure is not having any problems at all. With low rates, it's great, but even the prices are continuing to move higher, and we definitely continue to have a shortage. So let's talk about prices. Why are prices continuing to move higher?
It's the bottom line is supply and demand, Dave. Those younger consumers, by and large, got locked out of the home buying process when many of the big institutions or what should I say, the Blackstones of the world had a lot of cash and were buying cash for homes the last probably 7 of the last 10 years.
Right.
Buying up inventory, all cash down, all cash down, all cash down. So that was buying up liquidity, or the liquidity of homes, absorbing all the homes, causing rates, values to go up. But then something interesting happened. When the crash of '08 happened, construction went down dramatically.
Right.
New construction.
Right.
And, we were making anywhere from 1.1 to 1.4 million homes a year right before the crash.
Right.
Perhaps we got ahead of ourselves, but then when the crash happened, we were building $500,000 to $600,000 homes a year.
Right.
Less than $1 million.
Yeah.
And that happy line was 1 million, 1.2 million homes a year built by our country, by the builders of our country, to keep up with, the babies being born and the people graduating from college and the population growth, right? Also, we've seen an increase in household formations. These young people are now coming together. Yeah, yes. And deciding to live together, maybe not get married. It was different than when we were kids.
Right. But they're definitely, I definitely see, because my kids, as I've said, 22, 23 years old, they have it in their mind that they're going to be rooming with somebody. It's like a given almost, because they realize that's one of the ways they can afford a home.
Yeah, and the household formation. Yep. So that's a second reason. But there's one reason that I want to touch upon real quickly, and there's this board that's between Dave and I, if you're listening on the radio. And it's something very specific. So if you don't mind, I'm going to show it. And if you're watching this online, you'll see it.
And I'll give a play-by-play.
Thank you. So I'm going to grab this from Dave real quick so you can hear. Patty, you can hear real good?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to call it the 4 L's.
4 L's, okay.
Of new construction, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 4 L's, the first L is land, okay? Patty.
Yeah.
Ain't making much more land here in Southern California, are they?
Not a whole lot.
No. You can go out to Riverside. You can go to let's say Fresno.
Yeah.
Kind of Bakersfield. That was the word I was thinking. Bakersfield. There's more land, right? A lot of it is agricultural land. You get it very inexpensive.
Right.
But a lot of people aren't moving there. Right. So they don't have a whole lot of land that are between the ocean and the mountains. Right. What did Dallas Rain say? From the desert to the seas, right? The closer you get to the seas, the mountain to the seas. Is that what he said? I don't know, over the years. So anyhow, they're not making a whole lot of new land here in Southern California. In order for them to make new land, they got to knock down 3 homes to build, 8 apartment units or 10 condo units. So land is a shortage. The second L, Patty, is legal. Legal. Yeah, there's something that you might not know of, Patty. It's called CEQA. And it's an acronym.
Huh. Yeah.
Basically, it's part of us protecting the environment, and I think that's a fantastic thing. But it allows, and I'm gonna really touch upon it from a light standpoint. If you're a lawyer on, listening to this, I'm sure that I'm missing something. But in general, it's this: you can sue a project for environmental reasons, and if you win attorney fees. If you lose, you don't have to pay their attorney fees.
Huh.
And so what happens is you get environmental activists who want to protect the environment.
Yeah.
But perhaps they get a little, like they want no growth.
Right.
So they'll sue on the horseback frog or whatever they call it, stickle frog, or a plant that was in that nobody knows about that happens to be here and maybe one other place in California, right? Or what happened, I believe, with Newhall Ranch was carbon emissions.
I think
Yeah, after 20 years, they just said, well, we'll just be a carbon neutral community. You put in a bunch of trees, we'll put in electrical, for electric cars. But the bottom line is you can sue, and it's only one-way attorney fees. So, if you got a place you're an attorney and you specialize in this and you got an little apartment to live in and you're okay not eating and maybe winning some of these cases, you can keep suing and delaying projects and delaying until you get what you want.
Yeah.
And we see activism instead of environmental protection.
Correct.
And so that's the second. Legal. It's expensive to build on land. And plus, every department, you got the fire department, you got the water department, you got the school district, you got all these people you got to pay to build.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So the next thing is labor, okay?
Labor. I mean, that makes sense.
Labor, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, my contractor brings someone to build a room in one of my executive suites, Dave. Holy smokes, he's got to pay double that because of workers' compensation.
Right.
I mean, it's very expensive.
Really expensive.
Right, so labor, but I tell you what, Patty, do you want to be a construction worker?
Not necessarily.
No, and you're below 30 years old. Most people that are below 40 aren't interested in going into construction.
Yeah.
Right, if you're over 30, you probably don't want to go in because you don't want to work in the sun. But bottom line is, there's not a whole lot of people that want to do that trade.
Right.
And so we have a shortage of labor. For several reasons. Now, can you imagine if someone just, put me as president, okay, just for one term. I will create an immigration policy that has people coming from over the border, from north and south, east and west, airplane them in. Let's teach them how to build homes and make them great, working, productive people of our society.
Yeah.
They want to send money back to their country, who cares? Yeah. Bottom line is it would solve our labor shortage, but there's not a whole lot of new construction workers.
True
and
that.
The cost to build homes is very expensive. The last but not least, Patty, is lumber.
Lumber.
Now, not really lumber, because, but
Yeah.
But
all the stuff that goes along with it, right?
Right, the building blocks,
Concrete,
yep.
Everything else, right?
the building material.
Yeah, the building
Yes.
materials. Now, Patty, can you imagine people in third world countries want to have paved roads?
Yeah.
And they want to build homes now. And right? Go figure.
Yeah, that's correct.
So all these resources that we had kind of to ourselves in a way as a developing nation, as a booming nation, are spread throughout developing nations. So there's a shortage of raw materials, Dave. So, I mean, a little bit of an illustration of the 4 L's, I call it, of why it's very expensive to build new homes.
Yeah.
Because land's hard to find, the legal requirements to build on that land.
Yeah.
It's been argued between $100 and $150 per little site to build a home. Is costing before you put a stick in the ground, before you laid concrete.
Yeah, and one of the things
labor and lumber.
I've always jumped on with that legal part of it is, I've always said that one of the areas that we're missing out on is that starter home, right? For the young people to start, but it costs almost for the builders, for the developers, it costs about the same to build a 3,500 square foot home as it does to build a 2,500 square foot home.
That's why you don't see them.
But they can sell that 3,500 for so much more, so we're not seeing those starter homes, and that's, for Patty's generation, that's a little bit of an issue lately as well.
Yeah. Now, I was shared. There's another. There's a couple things that I think are helping. But it's a little bit controversial. And we've talked about this in previous shows, and that is ADUs. ADUs.
Yeah.
If you could find a property where there's a bathroom near the garage. Oh my, you might have an opportunity to turn an ADU because you can turn the garage into a living space.
Right.
And the bathroom's nearby. All you got to do is build a kitchenette and tie into the sewage system in order to do that. You can also put, I don't want to say these mobile home looking, but these units, they're really nice. When they're built, they're kind of built square, right? Because it's done in a factory and all the wood's cut to specifications. But you can put a unit on your property, right? And that unit will allow you to rent out. It's a mother-in-law unit. It's to help help us alleviate, Patty, would you like to, versus renting an apartment? Let's see, do you like dogs?
I do. I love dogs.
Okay, do you have a dog?
I have 2.
What are they? What kind?
Golden retrievers.
Golden retrievers. So you want to move into an apartment. It's going to be more challenging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to move into a place that maybe is, in my garage, is converted into a nice space that has a kitchenette and a bathroom.
Right.
And we made a little yard for you right off the back.
Yeah.
You're going to want to live in that more than you're going to want to live in an apartment, right?
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can, young people can build these extra auxiliary dwelling units on their land that they're buying, and I think that's going to be the biggest boom, and that's going to keep values continuing to rise because Patty will go in with his brother or a friend or a significant other or a parent, buy that place, split them up. Shoot, Patty might just take the smaller unit and rent out the bigger unit. And I think we're going to see more of that.
Well, I also think the other way we're going to see that is people like you and me. Our parents at some point are probably going to need to, and so you build that, again, you put that structure up on your plan. Now you're bringing your parent in to live with you as well.
Yeah.
That's an area. But that's actually good because it frees up the home they were in.
It's very positive. And,
Yeah.
and I think that maybe that's what happens at post-COVID because of what's happened. We're going to see kids live with us longer. It's almost like 08 all over again,
And
in
just,
a way.
Yeah, but just because I am on public radio, my brother is taking my mother, so I want to make sure that that's known.
Is your mother listening today?
She might, if she is, she knows.
You're not getting a present this year. Anyhow, Patty, does that explain the four L's of why it's so expensive to build new homes
Yeah.
and why we're seeing this lack of builder interest in smaller homes, and so we just don't have enough homes. So, anyhow, let's jump to a quick break. I know we have post-break. We have a guest coming.
I believe so. Yeah.
We have Via's
Yeah.
coming on talking about their events that they have coming up.
Yeah, we've got some
Valley
great
Industry
events coming up.
Association, but we're going to jump to a quick break, and we'll be right back.